All right, here we are back once again. My name is Erwin, and we are getting to know what I believe to be, some of the best comedians around Chicago. And so today we are joined here today with
Renny Blacket.
Renny. Thank you for coming on here, man.
Oh man, I'm really excited about this.
So how long have you been a comedian?
Oh man, how long have I been a comedian? My whole life. Can we curse on this?
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, my whole fucking
man.
life. No. I've been doing a stand up, I guess, for the last maybe 2.5 years or so.
Okay.
But I say whole life because I feel like I've always just kind of wanted to perform in some way. I started with like theater and kind of branched from there.
Oh,
yeah.
All right. Yeah, I see on your Instagram you have a lot of ranting things. You have your white refrigerator is woke, your diary of a white woman,
Yep.
right? Your diary of an immortal, and your problematic time traveler, and all that stuff.
I love that. Yeah.
What was it that made you want to start those things?
Yeah, I mean, so I feel like ultimately, like, I love content creation, and I love randomness. So I was always a huge British comedy fan.
Oh,
growing up. So like, everybody always gets put on with The Office, at first. But then like I was like, oh, okay, there's like this whole plethora of entertainment that I had never known, really existed. I never really thought about it. So I just did deep dives and just really got into British comedy and just like the dryness and the absurdity of it, So when it came to time to try to think about content that I was wanting to create, I like pushing pushing the bounds of absurdity. So that's why a lot of my prompts are just like, people are like, what are you on? And I'm like, I'm on, trying to just, that's what I find funny. I find randomness funny. Yeah. It's a good thing. What about you? Like, what's something that like you really enjoy?
Well, actually, since you brought up the British comedy and The Office as well, Ricky Gervais, right?
Yes.
So, you listen to his podcast, which he did like early 2000s?
No, I'm like, all right. So I feel like I'm fairly new to podcasts. I feel like I'm behind with podcasts because a lot of people don't remember this. I'm dating myself, but a lot of people like podcasts started with just iPhones. iPhones were the only ones that had podcasts, and like I was a diehard, fuck iPhones for a really long time.
Oh, okay.
I was like, fuck Apple, fuck iPhones. I'm not going to pay that much money for all that shit. So like I didn't really get on to podcasts until probably the pandemic.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. So I say all that to say, I haven't listened to it. Is it good?
Oh, it's probably my favorite that I just basically listen to on just loop, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because like you said, so although it's named the Ricky Gervais Show, they have this dude on there, Carl Pilkington, who is basically the embodiment of that dry, random like humor.
Yeah.
So that's something that I would definitely recommend checking out because, like I said, it came out when podcasts were first starting to be a thing. So it was like the first podcast to reach like 1 million downloads.
Yeah.
So it was like 2003-ish around there.
Oh my God.
So it was a while ago that he did that.
Yeah, that's a minute. Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
But it's definitely something I absolutely recommend to everybody, to be honest, because I find it that good.
Okay.
It's called the Ricky Gervais Show, and to be honest, you could just find like most of it on YouTube. They just uploaded all of it. So.
That guy that you were talking about, the guy that's like the embodiment of British comedy, is he that dude that is like, so I saw this one show with Ricky Gervais where they were like following around this guy they would always just like talk about how he was like worthless and like just like super like dumb, and it kind of seemed like they were making fun of him, but they were like really fascinated with him. Was it him?
Yeah, that should be it. Yeah, that should
Got
be it.
you. Yeah. I've seen some of his stuff. I think he's pretty like he's like so absurd. You're like, is he really being serious or not?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
I fucking love that dude. He's hilarious. Yeah, Ricky Gervais. Yeah, people always talk about like The Office, and like I'm one of those like douchebags that's like, I love the British The Office. You know, like
Oh, that's my favorite version too.
yeah, definitely, definitely. I'm one of those dudes, man. You know, they call us weird, but like fuck it, no. I like another thing about British comedy is just like they do 3 seasons and they're out, or like 2 seasons and they're done. They don't like milk that shit until it's not funny anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I feel was the main difference between The Office here in the U.S. and the British, where they only did it like the couple of seasons, and those seasons were like they had that absurdism to like almost an extreme level, whereas here in the States, the first couple of, like, I've heard so many people say that here in the States that the U.S. Office, like, it doesn't get good until after a couple of seasons. So where they say that the first seasons where it was mirroring the British one, they say that that's like the bad part of it. And it's like, that's such a different view of how we had, because then the later seasons of The Office, they turned into like a regular sitcom almost.
Yeah, it was super American.
Yeah. So it kind of lost all of that original Britishness that it had to it.
It's crazy how, like, you know, the different countries have different senses of humor. You know, it's so it always intrigues me about just like how people really don't resonate with British comedy, but then this minute that there's like a American remake of it, they'll like give it a chance, and it's like this doesn't make sense. Just go watch it on, you know, BBC.
Did you grow up in Chicago?
No, thank God. No, I'm joking. No, actually, I don't know. It would have been weird growing up in Chicago. I don't know if I would still be alive if I did. I think this city would have turned me out a long time ago. No, I'm originally from Houston.
Oh, okay.
H-Town, holding it down. Shout out to H-Town.
Nice,
Gotta love it. Yeah, but I was born and raised there. Then I left for school, went to Indiana. So that was terrible. That was a terrible 4 years. And then after that, I was like, all my friends were either going, because I said I was in theater, so all my friends were either going to LA or they were going to New York, and I was like, I don't want to go to either of those places. So I was like, all right, let's do the Chicago thing.
Oh, nice.
That's how I ended up here. I'm really happy that I did. It's the best city to go if you're broke, in my opinion. Or best major city to go to if you're broke, or at least it was.
Good to know. Sure.
Yeah. What about you? Are you from?
No, I was born in Mexico.
Oh, nice.
Moved here when I was like 4 years old.
Okay.
So I basically did grow up here. Just not born here.
What part of Mexico?
It's called Baja California Sur, which is basically right under California. It's like the most southern tip of that little piece of Mexico. But but I mean, so like I said, I basically did grow up here, and I feel my probably definitely more Americanized in my probably my humor and that type of stuff, because there is a very big like comedy scene in Mexico and all that stuff too. There's very rich history with all that stuff. But they are definitely, I would kind of liken them more to maybe like black comedians here, where they do more of a storyish type. It's more talking to the people type stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel, well, me personally, at least my style of comedy is more just like kind of joke writing, where it's not so much that type of I'm telling you stories about my life and all that type of thing. But yeah, I feel that might be something from growing up here. I don't know.
Do you think, or in your experience, like successful Mexican American comedians, how are they seen in Mexico? Do you have like any insight into that? Like, do people like George Lopez and like, you know, I guess I wouldn't know like in Mexico, but I know that at least here he is very popular amongst the Mexican Americans, at least. So yeah, he's very liked here, but I don't know how that would translate back in Mexico. Gotcha.
Yeah,
they don't just have like blind love for other Mexican people.
I'm not so sure. Yeah,
gotcha.
Although I think somebody like Fluffy, I think he does very well over there too. So
yeah, man, that dude fucking he did I wish I could have gone seen that Dodger Stadium show. He did a Dodger Stadium show like maybe a year or so ago and fucking sold the thing out. I'm like, dude, man. Yeah, but he's a beast, man. He's a beast.
Yeah, for sure. So you said you went from theater to comedy. What was it that brought you over to comedy?
So I'm a writer. So I write, and
nice.
typically what I would do is I would write a play, and I would say, all right, I'm going to do this play, and I'd find some venue to do it, and I'd perform it. But by doing all of that, I had to get like cast members, crew, designers, all these different people, and then pay them, compensate them, make sure that they feel good. You have to do all these different things in order to put together this one piece of art to show to the community. And then I thought to myself, with like stand up, it's just so self-contained. Like at the end of the day, all you need is the motivation to get you to an open mic. And if you can consistently go to open mics, then, one, you're going to improve your craft one way or another. It's not like you're going to continue to do open mics and, not change from when you started. Like, is that a better change or a worse change? Who knows? But you're definitely going to grow in some way. And then the other thing is just like the community, the community with different, stand-up comedians and stuff like that. I definitely lost my train of thought, but that happens. It's all good. But yeah, did I answer your question? I think I did. Yeah.
Yeah, basically how you went from.
So yeah, it was self-contained. I all I have to do is just get to an open mic and I'll be good. So yeah, that's why I did the change. But I still, write, and if somebody was like, hey, we want to put you in a movie and we're going to pay you, then, I would still do it. I'm not opposed to acting or anything like that. Yeah. So it was my first love, but I'm not a big fan of actors. So that was the main reason why I was like, I'm kind of done with this. I don't have an ego. You have to have an ego. You have to have a certain amount of ego, and you have to have a certain amount of, I am the best at this. And just the way that I've lived my life, I've always been humbled by the fact that I know that there's somebody better than me. I might be good as fuck, I might be one of the best people, but there's always going to be somebody better.
Yeah. I feel like, that's something that translates better to comedians, where we're think worse of ourselves. So, as to contrast to the, like you said, the actors who you have to think better of yourself. Yeah,
that's so true. Yeah, there's so many like just... Yeah, you have to have a certain amount of hatred for yourself to be a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
And I fucking love that, though.
Yeah, that also adds to going to the open mics. It's like most of them, there's like nobody there. It's like maybe a couple other comedians, and it's like you're just doing it like just for the love of it. Basically, you have to.
You gotta love it in the beginning when you're not getting paid and you're just spending time in bars. Yeah.
Do you have maybe like a top 3 of influential comedians?
Oh man, that's a great question. Let's see. Mitch Hedberg is, nice, I think he's hilarious, or he was hilarious. That's such a good question. I'm also the type of person that like I don't tend to idolize people, and I don't tend to like, even though I know that I'm not the best, I don't tend to like glorify people that are substantially better than me. So it's hard for me to be like, man, I think that person's hilarious. I mean, I think Bill Barr is hilarious. Bobby Lee, I don't think he's necessarily like stand-up wise, I've enjoyed his stand-up, but like I fucking love Bad Friends, that podcast, and Tiger Belly. So Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino are definitely people that I fucks with. I think those are the ones I consistently like will watch and support. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
What about you? Out of curiosity.
Well, one, like you said, that's sort of not so much for their stand-up, but their podcasts, and they used to do Howard Stern a lot. But what? Oh man, I just had his name. Oh man, I literally just had his name.
Was he the raging alcoholic dude?
No, he was the voice of parrots for like Aladdin.
Gilbert Gottfried.
Yes. There you
Hell
go.
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Gilbert Gottfried was a beast, yo. Yeah.
Yeah. His. I've mentioned it on this before a few times before, but it was like his. Basically, his fearlessness and him just being like so pure to, like, just wanting to be funny.
Yeah.
That made me absolutely, yeah, one of my favorites. But besides that, George Carlin for sure was one that. I mean, I know that, like I said, I'm more of a strict joke writer, but I would probably at some point in my life like to kind of end up as he did, where he was able to speak such incredible things. So he would be another one.
I respect George Carlin because as I've grown older, I've understood it, and I've appreciated him a lot more. When I was a kid, I fucking hated George Carlin. Like, I didn't like how he called shit out. I didn't like how blunt he was about certain things. And as I got older, I was just like, oh, he was just like spitting truth and like doing it in a fucking absolutely hilarious way. And I think, as you become a stand-up comedian, you start taking things less seriously, and it just allowed me to appreciate his humor a lot more.
Yeah, somebody kind of like that as well. Patrice O'Neill.
Yeah, man. All three of those people are gone.
Yeah, unfortunately, man. Yeah.
Stand-up comedians die early. Yeah. Patrice O'Neill was dope. Like, the funniest thing that I will ever remember, because he used to do those like VH1 shows. You remember?
Yeah.
And there was this one video of Wolf Blitzer on CNN. It was during Katrina, and Wolf Blitzer was like. And there was footage of people on top of their roofs, right? And Wolf Blitzer, in like the most serious way, was like, "There's so many people that need help. They're just so black and just so poor, And like Patrice O'Neill was like so perfect on point. He was like, I don't really think that Wolf Blitzer was being racist here. And I was like, you're absolutely right. That shit still, every once in a while I think about that shit, it has me rolling, man. Yeah. For both of those situations. Because Wolf Blitzer wasn't being racist. They were just so black and so poor, and nobody was going to help them.
He was just stating the facts.
Yeah, he was. Yep.
Yeah, man. So do you feel you have like a message or a philosophy behind your comedy?
I feel as though in these last couple of months I've been really finding circling around my voice, and I think my philosophy is just not taking myself very seriously. It's a fortunate thing so I also produce plays, and I'm a production manager, so it's easy to kind of go into stand-up sometimes because I feel like I don't have all of my chips in that particular. I don't know how that saying goes, but you know what I mean. I don't have like all of my chips in that corner or whatever that saying goes.
No,
so like
eggs in that basket.
Eggs in that basket. There we go. I'm terrible with like sayings and shit like that. But yeah, I don't have all my eggs in one basket, which stand up. So like I'm able to go into different open mics and different gigs without like the pressure of like, this is what I'm going to have to do with my life. This is what I need to do. So that kind of affords me a bit of flexibility and luxury of just like, whatever. I love going and bombing, like, because at the end of the day, like my philosophy, okay, I did circle around it. I do have a philosophy. So my philosophy ultimately is that if there's a single person in an audience that reacts to my comedy, then that means that there is a certain amount of people in the world that would find me funny, because there's no way that one person is the only person in the world that finds me funny. It's just a numbers thing.
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean, like, it's just a matter of getting my message and getting my humor out to as many people to see it for the probability game to be played, and maybe at the end of the day, like that game, I'll lose and there'll be more people that hate me. But the way that I look at it, I've always looked at this with my art, it takes a lot more energy for a motherfucker to hate you and hate your art than it is for people to like you and like your art. So, hey, man, if you want to waste your energy hating me, that's cool. My name is still in your mouth. You'll still remember me. Yeah. So that's my philosophy.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
What has been your best experience so far with comedy?
Best experience, I would say the people, meeting different stand-up comedians. The community's fun. I mean, I definitely love performing in front of people. I find performing in front of people to be really, really fun and energizing. But yeah, I would have to say probably the community. The community is just a really fun thing. I've met some really awesome people through doing stand-up. And it's hard to find people that are motivated to do things, in today's society. Yes. There's so many people that are just complacent and just like do the day-to-day. So like any stand-up comedian that you interact with is a person that's not like that. They're a person that's like, they might have a day-to-day and, whatever, but it does take a certain amount of energy and passion, conviction in order to do something on top of what you're already doing. So I have mad respect for stand-up comedians. The ones that aren't filling fucking stadiums and shit like that, Yeah. We'll all get there. Hopefully we'll see.
Yeah, that is the hope. Yeah, right.
That is the hope. Yeah, definitely.
What about the worst experience so far?
Worst experience. Well, I mean, like going back to what I was saying, it's hard for me to be like, oh, I bombed. I feel so bad about that. Oh, you know what? Okay, so my first paid gig. Shakers. It's a Monday night open mic, and it's ran by comedian Derek J. It's a super super funny open mic. It's extremely supportive. Derek Mike's an amazing host, and every open mic he pays featured comedian for a 15-minute set, and he pays pretty well too, like he's paid for the amount of time the most that I've received so far.
Oh, nice.
But like I didn't do as well as I wanted to do. Like, so I was doing a bit of drinking beforehand, and that's what I typically will do. I'll have, I'll have a few, but I was drinking IPAs that evening. And, I get up there and I have 15 minutes and the first 3 minutes, like I completely blanked and completely forgot my set. And I was still very, into a point where I couldn't just like bounce back and just start, doing crowd work or just riffing or anything like that. So I was just like standing up there being like, I can't believe you guys paid for this shit, like pointing out the fact that I was sucking it. And yeah, like ultimately, it wasn't a terrible experience, but I would say it's probably one of my worst experiences because I realized that, this is a job. I can't just bullshit, this is work, and you probably shouldn't go to work wasted. So like, so who would have guessed, I thought out of all the professions, stand-up comedy would be like one of the ones you could go to work wasted, but nope, wrong. Yeah,
man. Geez, yeah. And man,
what about you?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll bring this up because it just happened recently. It was at one of the they started having them recently, the voucher audition open mics, where I think it's like through the Comedy Gazelle. They started having audition open mics where they'll have like people from like the Laugh Factory, or just other comedians. They'll judge you, and so you could have a chance to go perform at the Laugh Factory and stuff.
Oh shit.
Okay. So they've had a few so far. I went to one, and like you said, right? It is a job. It's something you gotta get prepared for and shit, right? Yeah. So that I felt prepared for that day, and I was like, I thought I had a decent set planned out, and there was at least like 40-ish, if not a little bit more than comics there. Yeah. Everybody just have a 3-minute set, and so like I was like 30th in line or something. So all right, I'm sitting there for a while,
Yeah.
but during the whole time I'm still feeling good. I'm still feeling like, I got this. I can perform up here good. And so it's finally my turn. I go up, and usually I have my phone with me, and I'll put it somewhere near so that I I got my set list just in case I get lost, right?
Yeah.
So I do that, and that makes me think even more. Oh, I'm good, right? So I start fucking performing, and the worst fucking part is that it was my first joke, and it was a joke that like I wrote at least like over a year ago. So I've been performing it for a while now.
Yeah.
And it's usually the joke that like if I tell someone, oh, I'm a comedian or something, and they say, oh, give me a joke or something, like it's my go-to, right?
Gotcha.
I start fucking saying it, and I blank on it right away. I go, oh, what? So I look over at my notes, and I'm like, okay, let's start over, which already bad start. Especially at an audition mic with like genuine people watching you and shit.
I hear you. Oh man.
I start trying to do it again, and I fuck up on the same part, and I just go, oh shit. Guys,
no.
Just pretend you didn't see this, guys. And I just could not fit. I did like 2 jokes, and I was like, fuck. And yeah, that was it for me. So it like
what was the joke?
Let's see if I don't blank on it right now.
All right.
So I like going to the movies, but something that has been being pushed around a lot recently is they've been making the main protagonist of films, they've been making a woman recently, and so I guess I'm just waiting until they try to make Jesus a woman, right? Because he had long hair in all of his pictures. He enjoyed himself a glass of wine. He fed people fish because he was probably trying to stay lean. He went to supper with 12 of his friends. I've never heard of a guy going to supper with 12 of his friends.
That's true.
And he would use his dad's name for authority. This sounds like a woman to me. And so that's the joke right there.
I love it.
But I would blank on he enjoyed himself. I forget what I was saying. I was saying something other than he would enjoy himself a glass of wine. And I swear I tried it like 3 times, which was probably the worst thing I could have done. I should have just moved on and said, "Fuck that! I'm not." But
so this joke's getting out.
Yeah, and but I restarted like 3 times. I'm like, I gotta try. But
I love that. Man.
So
I'm sorry about
it. Was totally and I did want to storm him out of there. I wanted to be like, man, fuck this shit. I'm out of here. But like I sat back down.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh. Fuck, what have I done?
Yeah,
because it was actual people watching you there, so it's like that's the one place you don't want to be fucking up like that and shit. And it's like I've been to other competition mics and stuff, so like I've been kind of basically in that situation, and I've been able to do things correctly, but just for that one, and so like I said, there was like at least like 40 people there or something, so a lot of people saw me do that shit.
But I mean people know, everybody has an off day, everybody has off days, and people that know your content, like they know you're funny, they know that joke's hilarious. Wait, I have a question for you. Is this on if the switch is up or down?
Oh yeah, that it's broken, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Awesome. Cool.
You're good. Yeah.
Excellent. Great. But everybody has off days. Yeah. They were just it's their fucking fault for making such a inhospitable, environment. Like they shouldn't have they fucked you up. That was their fault. Yeah. You said it was the fault? Or what is it called? The competition?
It's just like the vouch comedy, I think you guys like the vouch comedy auditions or something like that.
I think I know what and it's like a red poster. No.
I usually see it through the Comedy Gazelle.
Okay.
They have a yellow is like their main color, I guess.
Got you. There's just so many. There's so many different things. That's one of the reasons why I love the Chicago stand-up scene.
We have a lot of which is one of another one of the main reasons I feel I'm doing this, because I do feel we have such a great just selection and so many good people around here that like for example I have family in Kansas, and I go visit them every once in a while.
Yeah.
So I was there like last year-ish, and I was looking for open mics. and I was only able to find like one on like a Wednesday.
Fuck. Yeah.
And that was it. Like for like the whole week, I was like, "What the fuck? Where's everything? What the hell's what's going on?"
Yeah, that would frustrate the hell out of me. I love being, and I guess we don't really think about, we take it for granted. But yeah, there's an open mic every fucking day, you know. And then in some days there's multiple options for you to choose from. So like, yeah, we're really fortunate too. Have you done stand up? I know you tried to do it in Kansas. Have you done stand up in other cities?
No, not yet. Yeah.
Gotcha. Is there a particular city that you do want to go to and try?
No, to be honest, I mean, I have thought about being like, I guess I've kind of romanticized the idea of being like a half homeless, traveling comedian, you know, just going place to place. So I guess it doesn't really matter where, as long as I'm going somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to try to like put together like, just places, like, take a drive back home to Houston and then just like find different clubs along the way and just have gigs at those spots. It's like my ultimate goal for the winter break. Just take off a shitload of time and do it. Yeah.
Nice. All right. We're reaching 30 minutes here.
Okay.
Can we get maybe one of your jokes so we can get a little bit of your style to the people?
Yeah, man, definitely. Let's see. So yeah, I'm gonna give you a range of different things. So like, do you think that trees that are in the woods, look at log cabins and think to themselves, you lose, you dead tree bitch? Because I win, I'm still alive. Let's see. I'm really happy that it's getting colder or it's getting chillier in Chicago now, because when it's hot, people are out and people are acting crazy, a lot of violent people. I saw a lady get mugged the other day, but I didn't do anything about it. Yeah, because the way that I look at it, I grew up in a generation of Oprah, Sailor Moon, and the Spice Girls. I'm pretty sure she wanted to handle that shit on her own. And that's based on a true story. No, I'm joking. Yeah. So yeah, that's like I said, I probably think that I'm the corniest person in the world. And I love that. I'm going to fully embrace that. But I'm lucky that some people do find me funny. So I'm going to kind of just ride that wave.
Nice, yeah. So where can we find you online, social medias and stuff?
Definitely. Please check me out on Just Ranting the Blues on Instagram and TikTok, and Ranting the Blues on Twitter. Or you can check me out at my website at justrantingtheblues.com. You can find you can see some videos of my stand-up. You can check out some of my plays. You can check out some of my performances. I do it all. Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on, man. Thank you so much.
It's been dope. Thanks for having me.
For sure. All right. And that's the end of the